God uses evil for good, but we are still called to discern it. In the book of Joshua, it shows us how the enemy works through our alliances when they are not discerned. But it also shows us where God uses the veil of evil for good when we fail to discern it. Here we see where all the kings on the side of Jordan had heard about Israel's strength and fame, and they were afraid. So they, who were former enemies of one another, became joined together so that they could war against Israel collectively. We actually see this in the story of Herod and Pilate when they joined to target Jesus. For one day and one purpose, these enemies became friends. Now, in this story, we see the Gibeonites taking a completely different route than the rest of the kingdoms. Instead of joining the forces, they decided to dress up in disguise, almost as servants and messengers, and go to Israel seeking some form of an alliance with them. They appeared to be faraway friends to conceal the fact that they were actually neighboring foes. And the sad reality is Joshua and the men did not discern this because they did not take this to God. They went ahead with an alliance. It wasn't until later that they discovered the Gibeonites' lies and intentions. Listen, whoever we choose to align with, we need discernment because alignment sometimes comes with motives, and if they're not God's, they're someone else's. In this case, they did not ask God if it would be beneficial. Therefore, it became a bereavement later. Not everyone seeking an alliance wants peace. Some just want protection from your anointed covering. Now, Joshua, being a man of loyalty, stayed true to his alliance and allowed the Gibeonites to live. However, they, from that point on, became servants to Israel. Now, what you may not know is that the Gibeonites are descendants from Ham. And way back in Genesis, we see where Ham was cursed to be a servant to his brothers. Fast forward all the way to Joshua, and we see where they are yet again cursed to be in bondage and slavery, never to be free. Ham exploited his father, and Gibeonites exploited the Israelites, both preying on the one thing they lacked: consciousness. Now, another example of God using it for good is that when the Gibeonites refused to join the alliance of the enemies, it made the southern coalition weaker, which caused these enemies to shift their focus from Israel to Gibeon. Now, God would have given the victory to the Israelites at every single battle with every single kingdom. But because of what the Gibeonites did, it gave the Israelites numbers to attack their coalition of enemies all in one major war. But the lesson still remains that if we are going to align with someone, if we're aligned with God, we need to check with God if we need to bring this person in alignment with us. Yes, God can use their evil for good, but He would rather you avoid it altogether if possible. So He calls us to discernment for this very reason, because some enemies will unite against you, but some will try to find their way into the camp as a friend.